Warrior Cheer presents. Narrated by Matthew J. Plum.
My life's work.
Ooh.
My museum. Our gallery. Within these halls sits the galaxy's most comprehensive collection of artifacts in existence.
Ooh.
I have spent my long years cataloging the entire culture of all the beings I could, from the dawn of time to the present day. Within these halls are libraries containing the last known words of countless races who have been cast to the harsh, uncaring winds of time. Truth be told, there are more galleries in my museum than a mortal could wish to visit in several lifetimes.
Okay.
Each hall is dedicated to a great empire and their achievements, but also their faults and inevitable demise. The history of the universe is filled with such empires, their names forever carved on the steel of time.
Ooh.
There are others who accomplished little with their gift of life, their existences being short, painful, blighted tales. The tales of history are only reserved for those who earn the right to write them.
That was such a sick line. What the fuck? You know? I love that.
I will show the halls of my library to guide you on the story of all of time.
Okay. Shit.
As we start from the dawn of all existence.
This makes me feel like I'm watching an actual documentary. I'm not gonna lie. This is so cool.
Density, temperature, a singularity, initiating the expansion. Primordial
Damn.
gas and cosmic dust sent into eternity to become everything we know or ever will. Gravity is the key to it all.
Okay.
Gravity birthed the stars.
Ooh.
It connects the galaxies, guiding them in motion to their inevitable orbits. That haunting cosmic ballet played out over infinite millennia, forever churning in the restless flow of time, locked in the embrace of gravitational unity. Vast ages of time pass. Ancient evolution forms in the stars. Gravity guides worlds beyond count into existence.
Ooh.
As the stars collapsed and more were driven into the infinite, the impossible happened.
What did?
The first true life in the universe emerged,
Ooh.
victorious, in an arms race of evolutionary barbarism. I suppose I should introduce the immaterium, the sea of souls, the ether. It has many names. However, it is generally referred to as the warp, an alternate dimension that has existed as long as the universe itself. Made up of pure psychic energy and raw emotions, the warp is endless, unpredictable, and terribly dangerous to those who cannot harness its power.
Damn.
The first conscious life was the star vampires, self-aware entities that appeared in the void between nowhere and nothing. Beings of great power that consumed the energies of stars.
Did we ever learn about the energy What about the star vampires? I don't think we ever heard about that, did we? Whoa. Oh, that's who he is. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know he was a star vampire. Shit. Catan.
feeding on the life force of the planets themselves. These parasites do not differ from any life in the universe. All life desires the same outcome: energy consumption and safety for their offspring.
That makes sense.
They would, with time, be known as the Catan. The cursed reptilian Old Ones scraped their primal forms onto the shores of worlds, long dead before even we Necrons evolved to stand upright.
Damn.
The first true sentient beings to cross the vast reaches of the galaxy. They were the first to climb the long trail of evolution and self-awareness. Their ceaseless advances placed them at the top of the pyramid in this galaxy. They traveled through the stars like dust travels on the breeze.
Okay.
And even built what younger races would call the webway. Through the webway, the Old Ones seeded life on hundreds of worlds. In their wake, they birthed countless untold species and cultures.
So the Catan is basically daddy, right? The elder merely inherited the webway, they didn't build it. Ah.
Life was cruel to our species. I need not tell you that.
Oh no.
Evolving upon a cursed world, falling victim to the scorching heat of our nearest star, withering our bodies and lives. Our suffering evolved our culture and history. We built our empire despite the struggle and endless pain. We were worthy of the gifts the stars had shown to the others.
Okay. Okay. The Old Ones are daddy, Catan is the abusive boyfriend. That's how it works. Okay. Ooh.
Our leaders met with the Old Ones. We begged for the cure to death, to show us the secrets of immortality. They refused us,
Ooh.
refused our desire for life. And in their ignorance, they doomed themselves.
I remember this bit.
There was no choice for us. We waged war against the tyrants. Countless generations ground to powder beneath the heel of the greedy and the vicious. Even with our unified empire, even with the might of countless worlds and millions of genius warsmiths, the strength of our dynasties was not enough to defeat the Old Ones.
Oh, 7.
The war was lost. The greatest defeat being that we were still cursed to weak, frail lives. The Old Ones banished us to the edges of the galaxy. They forced us into exile on our home world.
Oh no.
It was then that
besties.
the Catan came with their offer. The ancient beings of the cosmos had appeared. They came as gods, promising the gifts we desperately sought. We were all fools to believe them. After the agreements were signed, our people were put in chains and marched into the furnaces.
What?
As our flesh and blood was ripped from our bodies, we became the machine. We were betrayed. The Catan. Those traitorous sun-eating dogs feasted on the souls of a whole race, an entire culture. How tragic, then, that the ambassador for the Catan was named the Deceiver.
Oh.
But our translators misunderstood and believed its name was the Messenger.
No, stop. Is that really how it happened? Their translators fucked up? Is this canon? That is insane. That is so insane to me. Also, the Deceiver, hi, we know him. We know this guy. This is all canon. That is crazy. No, that is so fucked up and evil. Fuck, dude.
The God War, the breaking of the void, the war in heaven. 5 million years of hate and flame. The Old Ones were driven back by the combined force of the Catan and us, their steel slaves. Wherever we Necron tread, life fades like a distant spark in a cold night. The Old Ones, those fools, they grew desperate, creating the Eldar to help them in their losing war. A race of decadent, hedonistic artists to fight steel gods. Fools.
Oh.
They created the fierce Krok, a species that thrives on war and the desire for war. Little did they know of the plague they were creating.
Oh.
And on a small habitable world, it was said that they also seeded baseline primate life. As the last defense strongholds are on the verge of collapse, after we have flayed the minds and spirits of countless old ones, they formed their last doomed battle line. As the old ones were pushed into oblivion, Zarek, the Silent King, led our armies against our slave masters. We turned on the Catan. The Catan were weakened by the war against the Old Ones and the threats of the Eldari and Krok armies. The Catan was shattered, defeated and placed in our stasis chambers, made to watch from containment as the race they sought to enslave freed themselves. The mighty Catan were not much more than prisoners, forced to watch us live on despite their evil desire.
Oh shit.
Weakened from the wars, we faced the new threats of the multiple upstart races. The Eldari, the Krok, and so many more. The Silent King decided our fate. We were to wait in silence as our armies rebuilt. We need not fear time like our puny carbon-based enemies.
I guess.
It is during this time the Eldari developed their technology at an exponential rate, becoming the dominant force in the universe. It seemed they had advanced their species to immortality, but how long could they sustain their own desires? I admit, I am partial to the Eldari. Their great works are unrivaled. Their ability to will a world into being is haunting. We must speak about the so-called human element, as their empires take up many halls of my museum. Though sometimes unhinged and unpredictable, they are interesting.
Not the monkeys.
And present true promise for us. We will cover much of their history, difficult as it is with the conflicting dates set by the Imperium itself. But no matter, we will account their records from our own sources. Imperial records will be our guide, or should I say, those Imperial records which I have procured will be our guide.
Ooh.
I always found them to be of great amusement. They had begun on a small class 54415 planet, on the edge of the galactic arm of the Milky Way.
Okay.
They had first crawled from the primordial ooze as advanced water-based life. To think that glorified fish now wrap the galaxy in an iron fist is enough to burn my central processors to solder. However, as we slept, these fish people became baseline primates, Class 4 beings.
Damn.
For much of their early existence, the primitives accomplished little. It was their use of tools that separated them from the other animals of creation. From the first moment a cave-dwelling savage struck a porcine variant with a rock, it was all over.
So evolution is real in the Warhammer 40k universe. We are basically monkai, right? Hi, fellow monkeys. We're just monkeys, dude. Shit. Okay.
Slowly, they invented pottery and the bringer of security, that is fire. It was then that the warp entities had emerged from the void, the first knowledge of the immaterium. The damage from our wars against gods had ripped wounds in the universe. From these wounds came the apparent gods, extremely powerful creatures that bask in the souls of the dead, growing ever in power. The mortals referred to the beings as the Chaos Gods. They were named Khorne, Tzinch, and Nurgle.
Ooh.
What are three more pathetic void beings against the might of this galaxy? We have killed greater beings before. We may have to do so again. It is at this point that the Eldari learned the secrets of the webway and continued their dominance of the stars. The imperial myth concerning the birth of their god emperor is as follows. Seeing the inevitable fate of humanity to be consumed by the chaos gods, a group of humanist shamans banded together to stop this future. They had devised a plan to save their species from the thirsting gods committing ritualized mass.
Wait, are these so-called shamans just psychers then? Is that it? The death of the shamans are... Oh, they're separate people. Okay. Okay. I was a little... Wait, they're not? They're just giga psychers. Okay.
Self-annihilation. As the shamans died and their souls entered the warp, the power of the souls overwhelmed the beings that inhabited that dead void. The soul of their soon-to-be emperor was birthed and made manifest in his physical form. I must add here, this is perhaps one of my...
It's the birth of the emperor? Whoa! Okay. Shamans are the first human psychers. Okay, and then they combine their power to create the god emperor. Whoa. So he's not a guy. He's just like man-made. This isn't completely confirmed. Ah, okay. Well, at this point, there's just so many. I choose to believe this, I guess, because like, you know, there's so many conflicting stories. I mean, might as well just listen to the one, right?
My favorite twists of fate in all of history. Deep within a black stone complex, which crashed on Mars before the rise of humanity, is the Noctis Labyrinth. Within walls built 65 million years ago by us, lies the ancient Void Dragon. Imperial myth tells us that it is believed that the Emperor conquered this dragon on Terra. After this defeat, it was imprisoned beneath Mars for all time. Little do they know, those red-robed clicking iron princes, that their Void Dragon is a Catan let loose by corrupted slumber codes. I wonder how they would react to the news that its real name is the Eater of Knowledge.
What?
The humans began their empire on Terra. Their grasp of technology is slow. They spend much of their time throwing sharpened tree pieces at each other. Terra had a multitude of cultures, each one's god more important than the other. It was during this time that the Chaos Gods had fully awakened. With the abundance of new souls, the Chaos Gods had grown stronger. One human myth is that these events in their early years manifested the gods.
Ooh.
Korn was born in the charnel pits of millions of dead humans. Nurgle vomited into the universe in the wake of the vast catalogue of their illnesses. And Tzinch during the artistic awakening periods of each unique Terran culture.
Damn.
How arrogant to think that the universe would notice their tiny conflicts. Humans had conquered their homeworld. They had experimented with the possibilities of travel through the immaterium, still unsure of how to harness its power for space travel. They had developed primitive spacefaring capabilities and set off to terraform their solar system. They have always been amusing creatures, thinking themselves masters of the cosmos, even back when fire was their most advanced achievement. In essence, they are simple jellyfish, a travesty of nerves that stems from an inferior brain, piloting a suit of bone, wrapped in decaying meat.
I know he's like insulting us, but why does that like low-key make sense though? Ooh. Emperor's sacrifice is from the shaman's fusion. He was born in the traditional method. Oh. Guys, we're just jellyfish piloting a suit of bone wrapped in decaying meat, guys. That's literally us. Honestly, so true.
It is their arrogance that I enjoy so much. They were never meant for the stars, yet they do all to conquer each parsec. They fight amongst themselves more than any enemy. Tranquility makes them squirm. They lived for war. The humans built colonies throughout their nearest worlds, a slow process due to their primitive spacecraft. They continue to do what they do best, build and breed. Worlds are terraformed and colonized. Sublight travel was their archaic way of colonization, each colony drifting farther from the home world of Terra. Overexpansion resulted in loss of communication. It was only a matter of time before this formula would collapse into bedlam and chaos.
Ooh.
As the years drifted on, countless interstellar empires emerged, trading throughout the galaxies. Most of these supposed empires bore me. They prosper for such short spans of time. One does not even need to remember their futile existence.
Damn. We just like breeding, guys. I don't know. I just think that we just really like breeding. You know? It's not really a personal pain or anything, am I right? Like, The
humans furthered their grasp on nature, bending any resources they could find to their greed. Colonies stretched into the vast reaches of solar systems, overextending their empire.
Ooh.
The myths of the Emperor continue to grow. It is said the Emperor arrived on Molech and found a portal into the Immaterium.
Ooh.
A deal was made with the Chaos Gods for the gift of knowledge of warpcraft, allowing the Emperor to create the Primarchs.
Okay, shit.
The Eldar Empire had grown into the most advanced civilization in the universe. They had achieved the apex of technology, creating their own desires from will alone. Lesser races proved no threat to their domination of the stars. The human gene saw an evolutionary jump. There were sudden appearances of psychers, as they called them. Cursed individuals who can draw power from the Immaterium. Humans who developed the navigator gene allowed the first human navigators to make the passage through the warp.
I still low-key think that the idea of like psychers is so fucked up because it's like, how many of them like lose their lives again? Like, they're just human batteries, right? That's kind of fucked up. Shit.
The great navigator bloodlines controlled warp travel. The humans continued to explore and colonize all that they found. Treaties were signed with dozens of Xeno races. It was truly a golden age for humanity. Technology often gets the better of the primitive species that craft it. The promises of comfort and ease of existence has led to the downfall of dozens of species. It was then that man's greatest creations, their slaves, turned on their masters in force.
What?
The cybernetic revolt, as it was once called, started with the Men of Iron. Anarchy ripped throughout all of humanity.
Ooh.
The golden age of humanity ended in brutality. Who knows how many billions lost their lives, or what technology was destroyed in the process.
Okay, so if you're a shit psyker, you basically get force fed to the Emperor. Like 1,000 of you gets force fed to the Emperor like every day. But if you're like a really fucking good psyker, you basically become an Inquisitor? Is that how it works? If you're a shit psyker, you implode. Okay, you become... See, so basically if you're a shit psyker, you implode. But if you're a mid-tier psyker, you get force fed to the Emperor. And if you're like a really good one, you become an Inquisitor. Okay. Or Grey Knight. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, fair.
Across the stars, another empire fell to time. The Eldar had enjoyed their moment of success.
Ooh.
Technology was not their downfall. Their own desires tore them apart. Sheer physical impulses and depravity broke them. Their yearning for lust and pleasure cursed their kind. The being that spawned from their depravity forever changed the course of the stars.
Slanesh.
It was then that the being known as Slanesh came to be. The Eye of Terror that came to be from the creation of Slanesh obliterated almost all of the Eldar. She who thirsts, as some have called Slanesh, feasted on billions of Eldari souls.
Ooh.
Some of the Eldari foresaw the dark future and left their homeworlds behind. The craft worlds were all that was left of them now. Vast, floating cities that are slowly fading away. As a fan of theatrical renditions of historical events, I find the performances from this era to be especially entertaining. The humans had peaked in their scientific advances. The historical blueprints, or as they are more commonly known, the standard template constructs, became the database of all human technology. Humanity was plagued with warp storms that appeared throughout the far reaches of the galaxy. Warp travel was impossible, and the colonies began to erode. This is a difficult time for my collection. Almost all the important artifacts had been stolen by that damned Mechanicus. Ugh.
No wonder they have beef! Shit! No wonder he fucking hates them, they stole his stuff! Okay, that makes sense. You know what? You are so valid for hating on them, bestie. Let's fucking go. They stole his stuff and woke him up early. No wonder he fucking hates them. Literally makes so much sense, guys. The cowboy's fucked up.
If only I were awake during this time. The humans are easy candidates for the corruptive powers that inhabit the warp. Through the warp storms, psychic energy flowed into space. The weaker of humanity's psychers suffered from demonic possession.
Oh.
The human race tore itself apart. The Emperor of Mankind began his plans for domination. He began work on creating the gene seeds that would lead to the formation of his 20 sons, or as they are more commonly referred to, Primarchs. Imperial record fails to state exactly how this event occurred. It only states the Primarch embryos were scattered throughout the galaxy. All blame is laid at the feet of the Chaos Gods for this deed. But who can really say? The Emperor set out on his quest to find the missing Primarchs. My sleep was suddenly over.
At least he went looking for them. Shit. It would suck if he never went looking for them, but I guess at least he did? Question mark?
Myself and other High Lords awakened from our slumber. My initial excitement evaporated as the realization of how much time had passed. I had to continue my work. It was my duty to my dynasty to store the relics of our past. Even that miserable little pile of secrets Urikin was awakened.
Damn!
However, this was not our time to reclaim our galaxy. What a time to be awake, to witness this short era of grandeur. This story of this era contains artifacts that are amongst my favorites in all of my museum. The warp storms that plagued mankind for over 5,000 years drifted away. The Emperor of Mankind was known as the greatest psyker in history. He united the people under his rule during the Unification Wars. He made a pact with the cult Mechanicus on Mars. He expanded the human empire while discovering his wayward sons. The blood that was spilled was that of legend. The humans had set to take hold of the galaxy, swallowing everything in their path. Unity was always their strength. Yet, they denied it at every chance they could.
Okay.
The Emperor was the key to their survival. He colored his legions and sent his sons to fight his wars. I witnessed such glorious battles during this period. So much occurred during these times. So much to record, to document, to preserve. The artifacts from this era are amongst some of my favorites. The Primarchs had been found and sent on their various quests for the Emperor. The Great Crusade had come to an end. Humanity had become the dominant life in the universe. Imperial history recording events during these times had been subverted. So much has been altered to appease the masses, to appease the Inquisition and the religious maniacs. What is known as fact is the Emperor's favorite son, Horus, had betrayed the Emperor. He and half of his brothers rebelled against the Imperium, and I was there to see it play out.
Horus is low-key a bitch though, so like, sit the fuck down, bitch boy.
The Battle of Istvan III was where the treachery transpired, with blade and firearm. To see the armored warriors battle, brother against brother, it was as beautiful as it was tragic. I remember being impressed by the humans. My theory of their hatred of peace was proven once again.
Damn!
How they loved to fight. The eternal war had begun.
He really just said that humans are just allergic to peace, and that's why they're like this. Which is like, yeah, can't really deny that. Reasonable crash down on Horus, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm an Imperial Fist girly, man. I fight on the side of the Emperor.
Above Terra, another civil war had already begun brewing. The Mechanicum split into two. The Red Robes believe in a being they named the Omnisire. Many believe the Emperor was not the true avatar of the machine god. Many believe that the Emperor is, in fact, the Omnisire made flesh.
Ooh.
An epic battle took place above what the humans had once called the Earth. The traitor sons of the Emperor invaded the human homeworld. They had come to kill the Emperor and take control of the Imperium. This was a staggering battle for beings such as humans. The final battle occurred between Horus and the Emperor after millions were killed by...
I gotta say, this art in particular is so fucking sick. It is crazy. This art is insane. I've seen this so many times. Like, fucking... his name is Sanguinius, right? Fucking Sanguinius's dead ass is on the floor. You have Chad-ass Emperor with his, like... is it Maybelline? Is it L'Oreal? Who fucking knows? Hair. And then you have, like... I think this is Horus, right? Looking all bad and shit. But he's got, like, the wolf pelt, so that's, like, pretty fucking sick. Whoever did this cooked. It's the warp? What's the warp? He looks so fucking sick, it's crazy. Took 6 months just to finish. It is so good. Also, '07 Sanguinius, look at him just on the floor. Just right there on the floor. What the Emperor uses to look good? Oh my god. Whatever he uses for his hair, like, bestie, I need it too. Thank you.
Their blood brothers. The final blows were landed by the Emperor and his favorite son Horus. A clash that left the Emperor fatally wounded. It is a shame what happened. The Emperor slew Horus, who, in fairness, had it coming.
Okay.
Much to my annoyance, those loyal to Horus managed to steal his remains away. How I wished to have Horus's armor in my collection. I have spent many centuries harvesting rumors of the remains of the arch-traitor. The fatally wounded Emperor was interred in the Golden Throne, a technological marvel from humanity's old world. Technology the Mechanicus hardly understood. This was the end of the human reign of superiority. It had come to a glorious finale.
Ooh.
The fact that I'm reasonably confident that the Golden Throne is our technology is not important.
Damn.
The times following the Horus heresy were boring in comparison. Humans fell back once again into predictability. It was black or white from then on.
The Imperium.
The Loyalists gradually reclaimed the Imperium, pushing the traitor forces that aligned with the Chaos Gods back into the warp. The 9 Loyalist Space Marine legions are divided and began their own quests throughout the galaxy. The humans desperately wanted their place at the top. As they struggled, other races grew in strength across the galaxy.
Ooh.
The Drukhari had formed back when Slanesh the Depraved was birthed. They saw the event as inevitable and accepted their evolutionary destiny. They are a brutal race, arrogant, hedonist, and vile for the sake of nefariousness. They were...
That's not Vector, right? But why does he look like the guy from Mad Max? You know what I'm talking about? Whatever his name is. The bad guy from, like, Mad Max. But that's not Vector, right? Yeah, everyone thinks the Golden Throne is their tech, but whose tech is it? Immortan Joe, yeah. That's what he looks like, low-key, right? But, like, not... But, like, skinnier. Sanguinius' speech from Echoes of Eternity. Ooh. The pre-Slanesh Eldar were worse than the Drukhari? Oh, okay.
None in the galaxy who rivaled their cruelty. A slave in the city of Komora named Vect swore to be the ruler of the Dark City. He was ambitious and founded his own group known as the Cult of the Black Heart. With a devious plan, he betrayed the leaders of Komora and had the humans kill his enemies. With the leaders weakened, Vect took power and led the Dark Eldar. What he led them towards is unknown. These beasts created nothing, they offered nothing. They reveled in suffering just as the Catan did. They are beneath our regard, but have earned our disgust. The Orcs attempted to claim their position at the top of the evolutionary chain.
War!
The ancient race had swelled in numbers over the millennia. An Orc war boss known as the Beast built an impressive army that rampaged the universe. It was during this time that the Greenskins became a threat to all.
That's what they call me too, guys. The Beast. Trust, right? I mean, you guys believe me, right? Huh? You guys like totally believe me, right?
I find them to be similar in some ways to the humans, warring against each other, obsessed with power, obsessed with what both races call loot.
Loot?
What a crude word. Both believe their technology to be superior to all. Another life form that idolizes the spirit of war, the Astartes, were able to stop the Green Wave, at great costs, however. A new species emerged from the dust of the cosmos. The Flesh Robotics first discovered the Tau on a distant world. The Adeptus Mechanicus ship, Land's Vision, found the primitive species. The blue creatures were simple in nature, having only learned to use simple tools and fire. Simple creatures that were of no threat, but still, their elimination was ordered as they were to be destroyed for the good of the Imperium. Before the planet could be annihilated, it was surrounded by a violent warp storm. The wars soon to take place changed the fate of their world. The Imperium abandoned their plans for colonization and left the species to their fate. I am sure the Imperium uses this story to drive their agendas. The Tau were able to unite under one banner. They claimed to stand for the cause of the greater good, a seemingly effective form of governance. As the centuries passed, the Tau built their empire, diving into different castes. You may encounter them. They will speak of all these castes, bar one, the Ethereals. These ruling beings are conveniently forgotten about in the Tau propaganda.
Ooh.
These faceless elites are the true ruling class of the Tau. The Fire caste are the fist used to quell rebellion. The Earth caste show off their medical capabilities to lowly serfs.
Who the fuck just hit the most fuckable species? The Tau? The Tau are the most fuckable? Stop, bestie. What? No, you did not just say that, bestie. The Ethereals fart mind-controlled gas from their heads? What? They do make milk? People are so horny for Tau? Really? Why? Oh my god, I see it now. I fucking see it now. I hate that I saw it. I hate that I saw it. I don't want to look at it anymore.
The Air caste blockade worlds and offer free transports. And of course, the Water caste, those silver-tongued diplomats. They promise so much to anyone with the oral receptors to hear. These upstart fledgling fools must learn to tread carefully. They do not have the ability to confront the Imperium that they berate.
Ooh.
Only Father Time will tell whether these masters of masquerade will live or die.
Guys, Big Titty Goth GF or Big Titty Tau GF? What do you think? Yes, both? No. If you could only pick one. Big Titty Slanesh GF, bestie. Bestie. Big Titty Tau GF. Oh my god, Goth, to be honest, Tau Tao kind of icky. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Big titty goth Tao GF. Guys, stop. Shit, let me think. Okay, guys, big titty goth Tao GF. No, you're combining all of them together. That sounds insane. I want Yukari mommy to step on me. Bestie, she will step on you so hard you will die. You will absolutely not be alive anymore, bestie. Big titty battle nun GF, I think, like, do they fuck? Do the battle nuns fuck? Isn't like a whole thing about like, you know, being a nun? Like, you know, that you can't fuck anymore? They do? Oh, okay. Well, I guess you can have your big titty battle nun GF then. Shit. Oh my god, I was telling my friends, right? I'm like one more like bad relationship away from like joining a convent and becoming a nun forever. I saw like this one tweet that felt like a personal fucking attack, and it was basically, I've been in so many bad relationships that at this point it might just be I should be able to qualify for disability. I was like, what? You know?
Another rise in power for the awful orcs.
Orcs!
Centuries of crusading had weakened the Imperium. Humanity teetered on the verge of collapse. The orc invasions were relentless. Even worse, the more the orcs suffered, the more they grew. Countless star systems fell to the green wave.
Ooh.
It is their chaotic nature that holds them back from remaining atop their evolutionary chain. A culture predicated on the desire to be bigger and stronger than the rest can only go so far without true governance.
You know,
Even
that makes
with their
sense.
simplicity, the damage they caused almost destroyed the humans. It was not our time to rise. Our armies were set to awake at a later date. However, our tomb worlds were invaded by the Adeptus Mechanicus on their quest to find the lost standard template constructs.
Not these fuckers again! Shit, they're just like, are they like certified like the Lara Croft of this universe? They're just like fucking tomb robbing? Shit. Do robots have tombs? Apparently, like, the Adeptus Mechanicus went into the robot no-no tombs to, like, you know, steal shit. So hey, what the fuck?
They discovered our tomb worlds. Their curiosity and their degradation of the slumber protocols led to countless members of our race awakening.
Oh shit!
65 million years of slumber. It was our time to rule the galaxy once more. To reclaim what we had died for.
Whoa.
Our metallic bodies regenerated. Our weaponry was to mortals what the storm was to the stone. More of our tombs were awakened. Our armies began their conquest. The Silent King took back his rightful seat on the throne. It is our time once again. How the humans love to hold their martyrs up for all to see.
Wait, stop, that's so funny. The premise of the Mechanicus video game is to just try and steal all the Necron shit before they wake up and murder you? Wait, what? Hold on.
No single world is a greater martyr than Cadia.
Ooh, that's
In truth,
true.
I had believed the Terran method of time recording, BC, stood for before Cadia. They speak of this planet so often during battle.
Cadians!
It was a world of much importance to the Imperium, and to be frank, the galaxy. The fall of Cadia is a loss.
Oh, 7!
It was a weapon designed to remove the warp from our reality. Its loss must be lamented.
True.
During the 13th Black Crusade, the War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, launched a massive assault against the Loyalists. A unfathomable war broke out, and the planet was eventually destroyed. It was a significant loss for the Imperium, losing such a beautiful world to their own traitorous kind.
Damn! This is so dark, guys.
One of the greater threats faced by the mortal races of the galaxy are the beings we labeled the Great Devourers, the Tyranids.
Tyranids!
The humans named them the Tyranids after their attack and consumption of Tyrant Primus. Revolting insectoid creatures that swarm world after world, consuming everything that stands in their path. All life is consumed by these creatures, consumed, studied, and improved on. Though they appear as mindless animals, they are sublimely clever beings. They have demonstrable hierarchies. They adapt and evolve in the moment to conquer any situation. Little is known of their history. There are no records of them before the Great Sleep. They appeared from the deepest reaches of space. The humans first discovered the creatures in the eastern fringes. Rumor has been said that they were first seen by the Inquisition as far back as the 35th millennium. Speculation and rumors, of course, but I still enjoy this discord.
Yeah, type 1 in the chat if you too love Discord. I mean, fuck the new Discord update, but if my homies, if we like Discord, type 1 in the chat, guys. It's so stupid. I know it's not the same Discord, but hey, Discord mentioned. Okay, I feel like the Slaneshi demons would definitely have been Discord kittens, huh? I don't understand the hate for the new update. The thing that I hate the most about the new update is they have severely overestimated my age, because they've made the icons on the site so small that I actually have to like look to find the servers that I want to be in. And I don't even recognize them that well. So it's like, I'm just old as fuck, dude. So while not being canon, it being an official licensed game means that Necrons do have such technology available to them. I feel like 99% of like the issues like happening in this universe could have been solved if they had like, you know, Skype. Once you're over the age of 23, you're automatically a hag. You're like a senior citizen when it comes to like being chronically online. Better find a map for those eggs dry out. What the fuck? Okay, shit, dude. I mean, you're right. But like also, what the fuck? Skype and Excel? Yeah, dude, all this universe needs is Skype and Excel. And we're saying Skype, not Discord, because they're still kind of like back in like, in like probably like the early 2000s. Therefore, hey, the age of being old has gone lower. Apparently, if we're over the age of 23, guys, it's time to pack it up. I will pre-order my spot in the old folks' home. Trust. They need MySpace. They needed MySpace. No, but you can't have MySpace because like, what if you didn't put like the fucking the fucking like Imperium in like your top 10? Wouldn't they like go to war with you for that?
It is said that they have begun to surround our galaxy, ready to unleash their own conquest, after being drawn by the Emperor's light within the void. I cannot say if this is true or not. Others believe they are being pushed back, chased into our regions of space. All of this poses a great question. Are these beasts coming to this galaxy after having consumed everything they could in their own? Or, and this is not the ideal case, are they running from something greater? If they continue their rude interruption of the drama that is the galaxy's unfolding history, I may have to add a new section to the gallery. Perhaps I will name it A Brief History of the Tyrannid Species.
Ooh. That is interesting.
The universe is at unrest. The rapidly growing threats to the galaxies have increased as the weak find power. All of us are grasping for our rightful place on the throne of the universe. All empires rise and fall. It is the destiny of all life to fade away.
Damn.
Life is a struggle for all who have fought to survive. Even the smallest of life forms face this turmoil. The weak become dust in the infinite darkness, never to be remembered. To rank which species stand at the top would be irrelevant in the current turmoil.
Ooh.
They all cling to their spot, each battle and war gaining favor, or falling to the side to rise again. The great empires of the past have all earned their place in my halls. They each have a place in the history of the galaxy.
Damn.
The future of the universe will continue. Others will try to gain their spot, as did all the great empires of the past. It is a pitiful attempt. All life will wither and die.
Oh,
There is only
7.
one race that will succeed them all. We are immortal. We have learned from our mistake. We will rule our galaxy once again. But humanity, in its rapidly breeding expansion, has offered us what we never thought possible.
Okay.
A means to return to the flesh times.
Oh, you were right.
We are the infinite.
They want to become human again, huh? Subscribe? Okay, guys, we're subscribing to Warriors here. That shit was good. Yeah, we just got through the knits. That is really good.